Hello, hello. Do you have a graveyard of ideas? I do. I've got this book, and this book here is filled with ideas. Filled with ideas. And I want to talk to you today about how I help people just like you, experts in their fields. You've been in work for 15 to 20 plus years, and you've been helping other people do great things. Maybe you help your organization be very prolific in their area or your company, or you've been helping others to move their goals forward. Yet somehow this book of ideas just sits there. Well, if that is you, you are me. I am Dr. Abigail Joseph, the Innovation Doctor, and I'm here today with you with the Idea Edit, helping you turn your idea clutter into action. And my videos, my future videos, they're all going to be about helping you figure out how to move one of those ideas from this graveyard of many ideas and take action on them. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years. I have been working on blooming, growing an idea for a business. And it has been a lot of iteration, a lot of this and that, but I'm here because the Idea Edit is my newest brainchild, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to bring you the tools, the resources, all of the items that you need to move those ideas out of your head and into action. So I'm going to start with a little story, a little inspiration. It looks like my streaming, well, we'll see. Hopefully this is a test. And if it doesn't work, I'll do it again. So here's the inspiration. I, in me, have a book I want to create. If you've got a book that you want to create, let me know in the comments. What's the book about? How long you've been thinking about it? And if you've made any progress on it. So this book, I've probably been mulling it over for a few years now. And I've made no progress on it, but it's in my mind. And what's stopping me is that I want to make the book a little special. I want to make it something that is an experience. It's interactive. It brings together all of my multiple passions. It's very multimodal in nature. I had a book that I read in the past couple years, and it was beautiful, from the textures of the pages to the colors to the poetry to the music soundtracks that were a part of it, the coloring pages. This is what I want to do. So all of that, it's pretty complicated in the way it sounds, and it's just that it's so complicated that I'm just, keeping it in this book of ideas. So recently, in my 6-week program, which is an idea accelerator incubator, I was working on this idea of a book because that's the idea I wanted to accelerate. And in the process of figuring out my MVP, in the tech world, startup world, MVP stands for minimum viable product. So the products that come to you from the tech world, they all come in iterations, and they ship out the first version, and of course there's going to be bugs and errors, but they get it out there to you, the consumer, to work with, and then they update it. How many people out there have Microsoft products? How often do you get those product updates? Very often. So that's it. The minimal viable product. What can you do to ship it out? Well, in my group, we're calling it the minimal viable project. And that project is something that is the most minimal thing that you can create that is about your big idea, but small enough that can be done in a short period of time and that you can get into the hands of someone else. The way we move our ideas forward is about getting these things, these ideas, into the hands of others so we can get feedback. If we can't get feedback, how are we going to know that it's a great idea or a bad idea? Either way, whatever your audience tells you, it's information, it's data. And that's really important. So the story I have for you today is about my big idea for a book. I shrunk it down, my idea accelerator, into this idea of a zine. Now, a modern day zine is a small version of a magazine that maybe someone prints personally about themselves, and it can look like a half sheet of a 8.5 by 11. So one of the a half sheet booklet, and in my head I was, oh yeah, I'm gonna create this 30 to 40 page half sheet booklet zine, and I'm going to make it a thing. And I was humbled by my community, the persons in the accelerator that I was facilitating, and really thought about, well, how long is it going to take me to create a 30-page polished thing that could be printed on demand that I could sell? A little bit of time. So what was the MVP? Well, the MVP came to me out of one of the design constraints I put forth to the participants. And that design constraint was the MacGyver. The MacGyver constraint is this. If you had to create what was in your head in 24 hours and only had $100, what would you do? Well, for me, that MacGyver move was a zine. And as I said, the modern day zine is probably a bit more polished, but when zines first came out, it was this idea of getting out information to the masses in a very underground way and a very scrappy way. So it was pieces of paper that were put together with ideas, things that you wanted your audience to learn or know or move them into action. And then it was photocopied on a copier, maybe on colored paper, folded and distributed to all the people who were out there. And that is the zine. So for you, I want to show you, I took this idea, I turned it into a zine. It was 8 pages. I was constrained by the fact that I knew how to fold a paper zine that was exactly 8 pages. And this is what I came up with. So let me switch over to my .cam. And you can see here, here's my 8-page zine. This little booklet, oh, I did not transfer over. All right, let's start again. So here it is. This 8-page, it's an 8-page zine. It's this little booklet. This little booklet came from a 8.5 by 11. Let's see if I can get that a little higher so you can see. So that's the whole sheet. So it's just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And we're going to bring this back down here. But this 8.5 piece of paper is this booklet. And the booklet is called Move Your Next Idea, the Speakeasy Sessions Invitation Number 1. Number 1 being I knew it wasn't going to be the last. And this one's about an idea spark. And in it, you will find various activities to move you from the idea in your head and getting it out into paper. And I love this because there's a declaration at the end, and I would love people to share their information with me in my community, the Hatchery, where I help people who are experts in their field, who are 15 to 20 years in and looking to, there's that graveyard, that book of ideas, move them into action. And the zine is the thing, right? So the zine was my MVP, minimal viable project, for my bigger idea of a book. So what ideas are in your idea graveyard? Maybe in your idea book. Maybe in your idea book. Maybe they're stuck in your head, swirling around. Let me know in the comments what ideas you want to work on and take action on and get clear and make your MVP so that later down the road you'll have the book, physical book that someone can touch. I'm so excited. This is the first step in my community. It's all about joyful play, experiments to get those ideas from swirling to out there. And I know that each and every one of you has an idea. Let me know what those are. If you like this content, please subscribe, and there'll be more idea edits coming to you very soon. We're going to dive into some of my books around creativity and innovation. I have more stories. I will share with you how I ended up here as the innovation doctor and what my plans and dreams are for all of you. Until then, keep those ideas rolling, and we'll see you next time.